Yeah, it's got a big old donut cone. I don't know if you can see her with the cone. What are you doing? What are you doing? Goofy. All right, so what were we working on? We were working on adding this panting animation. I think it should save, which is good. Oh, goodness. Cool. We just now need to update the actual model in the file. We thinned out the tongue just a little bit so it's not clipping that badly. Export. Loading. There we go. Bam. Okay. Now that we've done that, we'll just play again, review the expression once more. Also, zoom if you're there. Hopefully, you heard my response. Let me know if you did not. And I would just like a toggle for that as well. We did a gesture. I would also like a toggle to enable. So we'll go down here. Clothing new. We already have these toggles for eyes. Bunch of eyes stuff in the menu. Clothing. New. Yeah. Toggle. We'll just call this panting. Saved. Let's just tongue out. This one. Yeah. We just turn it on. Bam. Not a very nice transition though. So the eyes have a slightly different position. I don't think I want that. I think I just want just the mouth to open, because then it'll work a little bit better with other expressions. Or no. Yeah, that's good actually. Good. Clear that. Now we can see this big gap here and kind of the fur poking through right there. We'll have to adjust that. Okay, good stuff. I guess we should put that in body. Body. Can we just add a slider? That's not what I want. Interesting. All or nothing. Hmm. Oh, whatever. All right. Added. What's next? Yeah, those UV discards are pretty strong. Just gotta go over here. Do some edits to clothing. Oh, my damn no. Oh. There you are again. Technical problems. Yes, indeed. My computer crashed. uh, been happening a little more often lately. I think I must have enabled some graphics setting again. Paying for it. Um, gave me time to see the new Helldivers update trailer. Ooh. Here they're doing a. Um, did we talk about this recently? A Halo. I swear someone was saying something about it. But yeah, the ODST. That's what it was. This looks super cool. A bit better, a lot closer to the body. Huge update to September. Okay, very cool. I don't think I actually haven't. I've never played Helldivers. It looked fun though. Not for me, I guess. That's not true. I enjoy it. I enjoy games like that. I always end up playing VR. So in this one, we do transfer the normals, the vertex data, and the UVs. But I would like it to update both UVs. So the first UV map, and then I'll duplicate this. We'll call this data transfer UV map discards. I'm hyped. Good. Oh, Pixie. You gotta have your collar on. You gotta have your collar on. She's running. She's running. She's mad about that. However, about the question I asked before you died. Oh, did you not? I was curious when it cut off. What did I last say? Ooh. What are we taking from face data? But it seems important somehow. Right, then we hide this. Go to the fur pieces individually. Actually, this will be pretty easy because all I need to do is take these. Got to the part about the ranking and the impact on things like lights, but I did not get anything on the next question. Gotcha. What was the second question again? Fuzzy boy. Okay, we're gonna make a script real quick. Create a script that each iterates through each selected object and creates a UV map for that. Thor claimed that many things can cause bad ranking, but still be easy for most PCs, while some might be medium, but can still cause lag very quickly. With custom shaders, that is true, because there's certain things, like generally VR chat has a good intuition of how performant certain things are, but it doesn't check performance, or you would have to have a very, very fully featured quality control system to gauge shader usage. And I don't think it does right now. You can just give it any material, and those materials can do a lot more than just they can just break things right away. Like fur is really expensive, and you can put that on a excellent ranked avatar, but like basically like you can take a mesh, and with your shader you can just duplicate that mesh over and over and over, and that's technically how a lot of fur is rendered, is by duplicating the base mesh. But that is as expensive as having a bunch of meshes. So he is right. Though I would say now, well, some things might be medium. Bad rank can still be easy for most people. Yeah, that in a sense that's true. Like especially like vertex count, like over 70,000, your geometry can automatically rank you as very poor because you're just over 70,000. But 70,000 isn't really that much. Like for most computers, that's pretty minimal. Like when you think of Fortnite, you probably well into 500,000 or 1,000,000 vertices per scene, even on just a mobile phone. But they want to keep that count low. It's we have an instance with 80 characters, 80 times 70,000. That's already a lot of geometry, right? I can't run a benchmark for every AVI or something like that unless you're Google or something. Exactly. It's just like there are specific, and there are things that you just are hard to calculate. Like there are things that you can't really know how much resources it actually takes up. Because you can hide things. Like you could have a shader that when it goes through VRChat system, it tests it, but then you have like a button you can flip to enable some other features of the shader that wouldn't have gotten tested through the normal process. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Or yeah, I'll leave it there. All right. Create a new the iterates to selected objects, add a UV map, ensuring the object mode is used, and restoring the previous mode. Perfect. Keep all. Create UV map for selected. Boom. Text open. Oh. Cats are cute. Let's go ahead and save a copy here. Save. Select everything. Save. Oh, for every selected object, I do have a lot of these are instanced. Dark. Okay, I know what I'll do. Ensure that we don't add a new UV map or any instance objects, or we only add one UV map to instance objects. Hope I'm not distracting you too much, by the way. Feel free to shush me if you gotta focus. No. Totally fine. Just have to think about how to word certain things. Can some Abbeys be performance heavy only for specific worlds? I'd guess lights could depend on world interactions. Yes, because some worlds can include, you can include additional things to render. I think you can include additional render layers, light probes, baked lighting, or real-time lighting. So yeah, the worlds can contain a lot of systems that also interact with avatar systems, and they just kind of compound and and how expensive it is. Transparency is also really tricky. But yeah, lights are really, every light multiplies how many times you have to render stuff. So like, yeah, it just keeps multiplying. So you can go up real quick. Zoop. That's exponential, right? Yeah, that is exponential. Or is that linear? All right, so this should only create one UV map per object, even if they're instanced. So let's look through here. Okay, everything should just have 2. That's looking good. Beautiful. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Now we can go to combined. And we should have that third map, which should remain unaffected by our other, because we're doing 0, 1, 0, 1. So if we switch the shader to use 0, 2, then it remains good. But now we should also have the discard layers. Okay, perfect. Noise. One last thing. Where's my fur? Way too many things to click. There's too many gosh darn buttons. 101. We're doing nearest face interpolated. Probably be better to just sample nearest corner directly. Beautiful. Anything else? I think that's about it. I hope so. So I'll go here. I could test this pretty easily, so let's just add an update. Whoa. Loaded. So now let's look in then UV maps. Interesting. Interesting. Ah. Aha. Okay, that's good. So we actually do want this one to go the other way. We want this one. Which means we have to switch the shader back. Bam, 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 bam. Save. All right. Very insightful answers. We also discussed prices. We all know creators like you don't get paid enough, but thank you. But we were talking about the Abby market. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. They actually do have a minimum, or it's not necessarily minimum. You can price your avatars lower, but they don't get promoted unless they're $10 or more. So VRChat's kind of setting a floor for avatar prices, which I found interesting. And I am on the Avatar Marketplace. I got my imp character up there, and doing pretty well actually. Honestly, check. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I I get about a sale every day currently on that one avatar. Well, maybe not every day. Every 1 to 3 days. It's a gamble, but so far it's working pretty well. I do want to make quite a few more avatars to put up there. $120. Thor claimed the only reason an Avi gets sold for under 2K is because that's all people can feasibly pay, and that the normal market rate would make them a lot more expensive for companies, for example. The only reason an avatar gets sold for under 2K is because that's all people can feasibly pay. And the normal market rates would make them a lot more expensive. I mean, if I was making an avatar for a company, I probably would double my rates. um, and that's because individuals usually can only pay so much, and you need to be like available to them. I do think that it would be more expensive, but that's for custom avatars. I think for products, it would be the other way. Like Roblox is super interesting because they have a huge market, gigantic. It's actually insane, but they only sell their avatars for like 20 cents an avatar or something. It's something super minimal, and that's because they're hoping to make money on scale. Um, that being said, Roblox is a lot more limited than VRChat, so I think. And Roblox still, it's like people go to play games. VRChat's a little bit more of like a lifestyle. It's almost like fashion. And no, I'd say lifestyle. So I could see VRChat having a higher floor, and it sounds like they want to establish a floor at like $10, or 1,200 credits, whatever it is. Right, I was going to check the UV maps. Boom. This one should be UV mappy 02. If we are sampling directly, then that means the fur would be getting snapped. Exactly. I guess I have to test in Unity. Well, no, I could make a little geometry node. Object to boom. Delete geometry. If UV map or named attribute vector UV map 02 I can separate it. And greater than 1 or less than 0. Do that for both of these, both x and y. Yeah. I guess I needed to reverse that. Or no, that's right. That is correct. Okay, so looking at that, we can see that the fur is not getting deleted. So that means our sampling is going incorrect or is not working properly. We should see that get deleted. Do your coworkers also play VR chat? That being said, with like custom avatars, there's a lot of variety. And there's like different markets too. Like there's a lot of anime avatars, and those prices are a lot cheaper because usually they're just looking for simpler things, mostly just like assets swapped around between avatars versus furries, which want fully custom character. We spoke about 18 plus content now becoming more and more common. What's your thoughts about creating adult content? And what does it do to the pricing with all the complicated mechanics? I do make not safe for work commissions. I don't stream them on Twitch or YouTube because you can't. But there's a lot of like prefabs or things you can reuse. So the process to make it's not simple, but it is not much more complicated than just standard avatar stuff, depending on what you're trying to do. Obviously, people can do a lot of custom stuff, but for, let's say, like the general generic things, average things that you would expect in those situations, pretty tried and true. Some of my coworkers do play VR chat. Yeah, 3 of us own our own Abbies. Heck yeah, that's pretty cool. That's interesting. Oh, that's right. You work at a company that uses Unity. That makes sense. I see it now. As for creating it myself, I'd probably do it under a different brand. I don't mind making that kind of content, but I don't think I'd do it on like my public facing brand. But I have no problem if I can make money doing that, I would. And I can. I will. But I do also think that that's going to be probably the secret ingredient to VR chat success. Like, it is a pretty big topic of conversation as VR chat as a whole. Just like people obviously using it to have sex. And I think that I don't have an issue with that. I do think that people really should. But I do think that that's what VR. It might just be that VR in general, that's actually the thing that makes it, that gets people into it. No one would say that if you're just meeting a stranger or something. But the VCR got really popular for the same exact reason, because it was easy to share VCRs. And again, that really is like the metric of success for a technology. If you can do adult content well, then you're pretty much guaranteed long-term success. I feel like it'll only become more and more common as VR becomes more and more of a whole reality. Oh, definitely. And then there's tons of interesting things happening with AI and rendering. First for like generating stuff, but then also just machine learning algorithms for like photogrammetry, bringing photogrammetry in. I think VR in 2 years, VR will probably look surprisingly good. Genuinely, like kind of, it's going to keep people on their toes how fast things are going to improve. All the fur stayed, which means it did not inherit. R. Never mind it. So long as people understand, respect the 18 plus tag, it's there for a reason. Exactly. Yeah. I think, yeah, the only thing that really bugs me about it is people showing up like, oh, this shouldn't exist in there. Like Puritans or just reactionary children. Like I've had people come by the stream and just like yell at me about that kind of thing, especially anytime it hits the news. Like there's like a, I think, well, it was back when VR chat started doing age verification, um, which makes sense to me, especially if you want adult content in there. It's like, yeah, just no brainer, make 18 plus servers. Anyone in there can go nuts. And then just, yeah, it makes sense. It is literally if we want it to be like the internet is in general, but for VR, people should have those options. I know I'm probably preaching to the choir there, but I just like ranting. But this object doesn't have a UV2. That's why. Okay. UV map discards. Yeah. Save. That should probably do it. People will always find something to hate. Yeah. And unfortunately, for better or worse, VR chat appeals to a much younger demographic. And there's some issues with how aware they are about issues. Very insightful answers. Always love hearing your takes. Thank you. Yeah. Maybe I should do a VR podcast. That should still have deleted stuff. Let me select just this one. Go to UV. Okay. Interesting. So it is on there. There. Oh, one. That's correct. This is not. Funny. Hello, Ken Dragon. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. We're just talking about some VR chat stuff. Yeah, I do think that IB, thank you. I'm doing well. Appreciate you asking. How are you doing? We're working on this wolf guy right now. Trying to get the UV, trying to make the parts of him turn off. Good. Hmm. See, we can see that the fur picks up the correct normals here. Now there's some odd stretching on some of these things, but generally that one worked. However, here, this one, the fur only is in the corner. So it should, maybe it's sampling the wrong object. Bam. Body low. Face corner UVs, nearest corner of nearest face. Switch it to interpolated. O2, O2. Should be right. Let's just try adding it from scratch really quick. Finally start working on a model of my own, but I'm stuck. Here. Well, heck yeah. My train stop is coming. Love you, Chad. Mr. Dutter. Till next time. See you around. Ken. Sounds good, Zoom. Enjoy your day. And fun chatting with you. I liked your questions. We'll catch you later. Bye. Bye. I'm actually working on fur right now. Not hair, but it's quite similar. So we got this fluff on the character, you can see. And what I've done is just made little planes. And then using the Poyomi shader and a decal, you can like, oh, it might be a little complicated to explain, but with the Poyomi shader, you can kind of blend in your normal texture with a second texture for the fur. And I just use that to like cut out my fur shape, fur texture. And that's basically the same exact thing you do with hair too. With hair, it's simpler because you're probably going to do single material just for the hair. And basically all you do there is you've got your plane or tube or whatever it is, and just put it on top of the alpha texture, which I can't see. Oh, there it is. Yeah, we have our alpha texture for the hair. We just sample it. All right, so I find it's the best way. You could also do like, solid tubes if you want a more stylized look. But for good hair in video games, it's pretty much all about the textures. The modeling comes kind of secondary-ish. But yeah, if you just look up hair card textures, you can find some good ones to just play around with and kind of see how people do it. But they basically just make like a sheet of different hairs, and then they have the plane sit on top of it. You can arrange that however you want. You don't really need a ton of strands. You could probably do just like 3, maybe even just 2. If you know how to render in Blender and make grooms, you can do that. You can do all of this stuff in Blender quite easily. Tried for stylize, and a lot of people use the line method. Okay, heck yeah. Just like a solid sheet tube. Duplicate this one. Just UVs. We want UV2. And we'll say nearest corner best matching. Try that again. That should work. Actually, call this UV delete. I don't have to test it there. Should be able to test it directly on this one. We do all those things. We just do the UV, delete. And okay, perfect. And we can see it's working now. Good. Keep it disabled. In fact, we'll say. Leave that there. Save. And in my body. Boom, boom, boom. Ooh, crap. How'd you learn modeling, by the way? Are you a visual learner? I am definitely a visual learner, and I've learned almost all of it through YouTube, actually. Um, I had some, I went to school for art, like drawing and painting, and started picking up some 3D stuff to just do like some rendering and help with painting and stuff. And then I just kind of liked it more after a while. But I've been doing VR chat avatar commissions full time for probably 4 years now. And that's been my main source of income. I enjoy it. Kind of an odd place to be, but I like VR a lot, so I'm excited. A lot of fun and interesting things happening in VR. But if you are asking, Ken, I do offer tutoring. Can't believe I didn't mention that, but I am doing tutoring for making avatars. So if you ever had like some direct questions that you wanted answered or wanted to walk through things, that's my form there. That's the right link. Yeah, that should be. Um, I, you know, may I take you up on that. Please do. Yeah, I'd be happy to help. A lot of fun stuff happening, but it can be a little overwhelming. Maybe not even a little. It just can be overwhelming. Period. Interesting. The UV discard on the body does not seem to be getting the or still. I thought I just fixed that. Maybe it's not transferring here. Oh, we don't have UV2. Of course I have UV2. So why isn't our UV delete getting the fur there? Um, I see. We're combining all the fur here first. Gotcha. So we need to update. And this will probably take a while. Sometimes things are slow. Actually, no. Yeah, not that slow. Good. Do, 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 do. One more time. UV. Boom. There we go. Required by law. All right, character exported into Unity. And now when we hit play and we look at the collar, we can see we're getting a little less clipping from clothing, which is nice. A little bit of clipping's okay. Still a little too much. We want to try to push out the back of the collar just a little bit. And then maybe, and then here as well. Just kind of bring that collar in. Okay. Cool. Back here, look at our clothes. Body, so I can turn this on. And we'll just kind of smooth that a little. Should be good. Save. Boom. 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 So many collections. And export again. All right, just waiting for that to load. I'm gonna head to the restroom really quick. I'll be right back. I'm back. Sorry for the jump scare and the delay. Turn. So, what did I do again? Where did we leave off? UV discards. I just built it again. I just exported again. So we're testing again. All right. Hi. Hi. Mm-hmm. You're so sweet, baby. You're a sweet baby. No, don't do it. Don't do it. All right, Bob. Yeah. Here. You want to come up? You want to come up here? Right there. Oh, that was cute. Oh, god dang. What happened to my normals? Normals are not blending. So I can't tell if they are or not. Go back here. What happened there? We lost our blend, y'all. This one's just UVs and face data. Maybe that's why. Move this here. Save. Ooh, my computer is working hard. I just hear it yelling right now. Gosh dang. Oh, okay. Hmm. Why isn't it working? This should work right here. Custom normals. Here's face interpolated. From body low, we're replacing with a mix factor of 1. Okay, why don't I just add on here? Oh, interesting. Look at that. But here's all. Instead. It's weird. Not doing custom normals though, which we should. That's not good. That must be because we also would need another UV map here. That's my best guess. Fudge. Fudge. Should be working. Isn't it working? Oh, just like, do you like that? You like that a little too much? Oh, that's some good stuff, huh? Wearing that collar for too long. Had to get her like a soft cone while she was healing from being spayed. Yeah, she just a little itchy. Poor baby. Hmm. You need some loving. She needs some love. She is. I have to head out now and get back to work for now. Well, enjoy the rest of your work. Thanks for coming by, and we'll see you soon. Enjoy your day, Ken. Yeah, let me know if you're interested in tutoring as well. Always available. Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy your day. Bye, Ken. Hi. She just met me. That tickles. Uh, man, what the heck? The fur was working just fine a second ago. Why is it no longer? Let me just reopen this blood file real quick. Got a wet nose. That really doesn't look like it's blending to me. Hey, no, not that. Hey, stop. Pixie. Ugh. Let's get out of there. There we go. Your cone's going back on. Yes. Okay, something's wrong. Maybe it's my. Ooh, why are these dark? Something is off. Something's very wrong right now. Okay, how about I do this? How about I go into it and just clear reset vectors? Yeah, okay. So it is busted. Do that. I don't want to do that. I want to be able to reference them. Oh, look at that. These ones are blending. So it's specifically the fur mesh pieces that are not rendering. It loads. 1,000,000 billion years later. Don't give me that. It's funny because all he was doing was turning off a collection. It's like, gonna freeze now. Anything odd about this collection? Really? Got all the UV maps. Okay. But when we go to the combined body, we can see that we first bring in this first one, and that comes in correctly. But on this one, it does not come in correctly. You can tell how, because there's such sharp normal information on them. Now, for this one, just smooth. Okay, it does look like it's like the modifiers are affecting it. So, but they're not affecting this one. It's the same modifier using the same stuff. What happens if I swap them? Oh, jeez. Hi. You know what? Actually, I gotta work. Just like a little cannonball with that phone on her. Da, 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 da. Why won't you blend? Swapping the position, I feel like if the geometry node was broken, or it had